Are we good? Cool. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Doing Better Show. I am Oliver Ox. We are going to get into our local news show right now. I am joined by my partner in localness. Beth is here. Hi, Beth. How are you?
Hello, how's it going?
Good. It's going wonderfully. Some exciting stuff as the weather gets warm and lovely. We're getting our tans and enjoying life a little bit. I'm like a big summer person. I love summer. I feel like you're only allowed to complain about one season, and I complain about winter. So I'm fall and spring also nice. I love summer. I don't care if it's too hot. We had 2-degree temperatures this week. I was outside working, loving life. It does not bother me one bit. And great time to get outside and enjoy the community. And it's nice seeing people doing all that stuff. Even things like yard sales make me happy. Just like any outsidey people getting together doing their thing. And you've been doing a lot of outsidey people getting together doing their thing, right? You've been doing the music festival scene lately.
Yep, I just came back from my second music festival. I'll be doing a third one next month, and my one of my friends is trying to drag me into working 2 more over the seasons, and I'm just like, no, I miss my house.
Which ones have you been to so far?
So there was the Strawberry Moon Garden Party, which was actually a fundraiser for the Portland Food Bank.
Cool.
So
Portland, Maine?
Portland, Maine.
Yep.
A couple opened their house and their property and their gardens to have a Deadhead Festival.
Cool.
It was 4 days of Deadhead cover bands.
Okay.
Which can be great for a day.
4 days is a lot of the same.
Yes. But it was very fun. It was a little rainy. It was a little cold because it was right on the coast. You could spit to the beach from your campsite.
Oh, nice.
So people would sneak off and go swimming at the beach. It was a very nice setup. They only did one this year, so next year they'll be doing one again. And all proceeds go to the local food bank for that area. They also accept donations at the door.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Do people still camp? Like, I don't know. When I was a kid, that was what we did for we didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, so like our summer vacations were little camping trips, and I loved camping. And it seems like it's much less of a thing now.
In our age group, I know some people who still do.
Yeah.
Campsites have just gotten to be expensive as well.
Why?
I don't know, except maybe people who have disposable income want that nostalgic feeling and they'll pay for it.
That's probably pretty accurate, actually.
So, I mean, it still would cost you the same price as going to a festival to rent out a camping spot for the weekend.
Yeah, I saw somebody post this thing basically saying like it was more expensive for them to camp than it was to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's like, again, I obviously it was infinity years ago, but when I was a kid, it was like 20, 30, 40 bucks a night, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was 17 going with a bunch of friends, and I think it was 30 or 40 bucks a night for a campsite. It was very affordable.
Yeah, it's now closer to 90 to 120 a night if you're depending on where you're going. There are places that they actually have like an association, so a KHA or KOA.
Yeah, I remember staying in those.
Those you get the membership, and then you can go to different.
Yeah.
But then you're paying an annual membership. And so if it's use it or lose it.
Yeah.
There are other places where you can reserve, and you have to reserve really, really early. So you'd be somewhere in December trying to get a May and June date, and they fill up quickly. The camping sites are also not like they used to be, where you used to be in a camping site. So I'm from northern Idaho, so we're known for our camping, and you could go to a campsite, and you go to your campsite, and it's going to be 15-minute walk to the next campsite. And campsites here in New England, it's more, they kind of have like a park, a cul-de-sac of tents.
Yeah.
So you don't really ever get your privacy, which is probably better for safety. It's better for making sure like bears and animals don't come into your campsite because they're scared of humans. But it takes away that feeling for me, because Yeah, I kind of like the idea that Jason might be coming out with a knife, and I needed that loneliness.
It makes it better for the scary stories around the campfire, right? You
Exactly,
got to have some legitimate threat
exactly.
there. Some things going on locally. We got some. It's coming up 4th of July weekend, so we got some stuff going on for that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on? Let me pull up the document.
Yeah, and then we don't run out of time and try to rush this.
Yes, exactly. We'll
I
do
like
that for
this
once.
plan.
Yes.
I love
Des,
this
can you?
plan.
Oh, I don't have my computer on there. Des, is that a? Do we have a? Why is my plug not plugging?
All right.
Did something
so we
come
got
out over there?
this.
It's this guy right here.
Oh, we're missing an HDMI cable.
Oh, what's this? It's see the one I'm jiggling right here? Is that this one right there? Is that?
Found it.
Hey, all right. Sorry, I was getting my computer plugged in so we can have our document here available for July the 4th wonderfulness.
All
There
right,
we go.
so I
and
do
now
have
can
one
zoom
correction on
in.
this because I was very bummed. I actually missed the festival because I thought it was in July and it was actually yesterday, so I was a little bummed. But we'll talk about July first.
Cool.
So for 4th of July, we always have fireworks.
Des, put this back so we can see. 4th of July. Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to see my face.
Okay.
My face not needed. So in the order of them happening, Haverhill, Massachusetts will be having theirs on Tuesday, the
Okay.
1st.
That's down at the stadium, right?
That will be down at the stadium.
So if you're doing that, make sure you plan your parking properly.
So what I would suggest is if you park towards the hospital, on the road where the hospital is, and point your car the direction you want to escape from.
Oh, that's smart.
And then it takes, it's a bit of a walk, but by the time you walk to your car, anyone who's going to have done something stupid has done it, and you're good to go.
That's smart. Yeah.
Next, the Tuscan Village, they have moved the Salem, New Hampshire fireworks from the high school over to Tuscan Village. They've pretty much consolidated the Tuscan Village as the end-all, be-all for things. Take it as you will. I've heard from many, many different opinions. Some think it's great, some think it's terrible.
There's a decent amount of parking over there, right? I feel like
There's
that's at
tons
least
of parking.
one. Yeah, and it's accessible from the highway and everything.
Yep.
So that's definitely one advantage. I can see why people would be upset moving it from a public facility to a private one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that one is on the 2nd, so that will be Wednesday. On Thursday is Lawrence, Massachusetts, the town we're in currently.
Woot.
It will be at the Memorial Stadium that's used for the football games.
Okay, right off on right on 114 there.
Yep, right off 114, right off 495, where the movie theaters used to be, which are now just a giant crater. Actually, I haven't looked. I'm usually trying to avoid cars. I should look to see what's there now.
I feel like I saw that old carnival thing there just a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
so,
there was
yeah,
the old
right?
carnival there during Flag Day.
Okay.
Yep. And then on the 4th of July, we have Amesbury, Mass. and Lowell. And then North Andover, which is the town next to us in Lawrence, is the 6th. So if you had to work and couldn't go to any of the others, the 6th is on a weekend, so it might be better for you and your family.
Nice. So lots of good places to go with the family and enjoy some public time and some fireworks. That's wonderful. And
Right.
if you're really a fan of fireworks, it looks like you got like 5 different days you could see them on.
And
So I
then,
like that.
as always, the beach will be doing fireworks every Saturday. So Hampton Beach does fireworks every Wednesday. Salisbury Beach does fireworks every Saturday. So if you miss your 4th of July because you had to work, because of family, because I just can't do that traffic, you can always cheat and celebrate your 4th of July on any other day until September.
Although if you don't like traffic, I'm guessing Hampton's probably not going to be your first destination.
Yeah. So back on the computer.
Back on the computer, Des?
Please. We have the next thing that's a great idea is farmers markets. So currently we're still having the Demoulas boycott
Yep.
thing going down. And one of the things is that farmers markets now do accept SNAP and WIC.
So I've seen that at some. Is that across the board? Do they all have that now?
Most do, especially the ones I have on this list. So if we go back to the list, on Wednesday, Groundwork Lawrence hosts one at the North Lawrence Common, which is Champagne Park. On Friday, the same group hosts a farmer's market at the Nevins Public Library in Methuen. And then on Saturday, same group, Groundworks Lawrence, hosts one at the South Commons in South Lawrence. All of these except WIC, SNAP, food stamps. So if you are using those services, you can still get fresh produce from a farmer's market in Lawrence. The Haverhill Farmers Market also accepts SNAP food stamps and WIC. It's Saturday at the Bradford Commons. That one is a little tricky to get into. It used to be in downtown Haverhill. They moved it to the Commons while they are doing construction in the downtown area.
Because it used to be at like that big parking garage area,
Which is
over
now
there,
a
right?
crater.
Yeah. That's a crater too now?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
building an apartment building there.
Oh, okay.
They
That
just
makes sense.
built the garage that's going to support it. So they built a new public parking garage.
Yep.
That's finished, and now they're going to move on to the apartment buildings that
Gotcha.
will feed into it.
The South Commons, the Bradford Commons, I mean, is beautiful. Nice little spot, but
It's
maybe a
very
little
picturesque.
trickier. Yeah.
It's very picturesque. It's a rotary that doesn't rotate. So be careful, be mindful if you're trying to find parking. I would suggest parking at the cemetery that is down Salem Street and walking back up if you're going there. All right. Then on Sunday, you have two options. North Andover does theirs at the City Hall. They're one city away from Lawrence. So if you were working on Saturday, Friday, and Wednesday, you can always try the Sunday market. Also, one town over is Salem, New Hampshire, and the Rockingham Mall, which pretty much is dead, is still hosting the farmers market. It's a year-long farmers market, so they do it year-round.
Yeah.
In the parking lot there, they've been doing it now for 25 years.
And the rest of these are repeat or every weekend right through usually about Halloween time,
Yeah.
right? Usually right about
Yeah.
there. I mean, I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but if you're fed up with the system, if you're angry with the world, this is the lowest hanging of all the revolutionary acts you can grab. This is the easiest way to F you the system. Right? If you are angry about wars and billionaires and corporate control and ICE and all of those things, you can buck the system by buying food locally. You will eat healthier, exponentially healthier than if you are eating frozen food at the grocery store or even fresh food that's been imported from 7,000 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
And the money is going to go into the hands of farmers who are local farmers who are usually independent, more independent than the ones you're getting your grocery grocery store food from. They're usually environmentally more responsible. I mean, this is the easiest way to do something that supports your community as in an F you to the man. So if you would like to F you the man and support your community, farmers markets, greatest thing to do. It's also fun. There are lots of weird, wonderful local people there. You got sometimes some little guitar duos singing songs or somebody doing yoga, something like there's always some kind of thing going on there. And it's one of those things that the more we get into it, the more it's going to grow. And I would love to see farmers markets snowball. I would love to see this turn into it. It won't take a lot. A few more people show up this next weekend to farmers markets. There's going to be a few more vendors the next time, et cetera, et cetera. It will grow and grow and grow. And every time you do it, you make it more likely that someone else in your community can afford to start a farm and provide local, fresh, healthy, non-poisoned food for you. So
the Lawrence Groundwork is also year-round. It's just
awesome.
a lot smaller. For the winter market, they do fresh produce, which a lot of the winter markets don't. There's one local farm where the family is split. Half of the family speaks Spanish, the other half does not. And so they come in during the winter, and they're like the one farm source, and they're bilingual. They accept
Cool.
everything. I can't remember their name, but they're awesome. So go for that. Go
Yeah.
for the farmers markets. Support your local farms. They need it. One that's absolutely insane. If you really wanted to just watch people, Somerville, Massachusetts.
Oh, really? Yeah, I bet
Yeah.
Somerville's a lot.
So it's in Union Square during the summer, and then during the winter, this is the part that's really cool. In the winter, they go to the Armory, and they do a winter's market with all different root vegetables and grown mushrooms. And so if you really wanted to go and just watch,
Yeah.
it is a show. Probably not every weekend.
Very cool. Des, you want to give me my screen back again?
So
Thanks.
last bit, fun events. So the first one I had here, it turns out I messed up or I read the wrong flyer when I was researching it. The Presente Festival was actually yesterday
Okay.
at Lawrence Heritage State Park. One of my friends actually runs that. He is trying to do a festival by the community, for the community. It was amazing. Look it up. So still look it up. Look at what they're doing. They had dance schools. They had local artists. They were doing like murals and art
Yep.
demos. They really want to bring this because there was Atelier and it went belly up.
Yep.
And these are the people who were supporting that art community are now doing festivals and trying to do outdoor community things. So follow them, support your community, because if you have a little bit more positivity, things are a little better for everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Back to the screen. Thank you very much. So Amesbury Days is currently going on right now. It started Friday. It's going to continue on until the 6th.
What's Amesbury Days?
Amesbury Days is they shut down Main Street in Amesbury,
Oh, cool.
and they're doing all 4th of July events
Nice.
for 2 weeks.
Nice. Awesome.
So they started off with a road race to
Yep.
start it off, and then they've shut down the street, and now they're all the businesses, and then they're doing lots of events, and they're doing historical stuff for
Nice.
the 4th of July. We're in our 250th anniversary, so there's going to be more things that are going
Cool.
to be pretty big. I've never actually been able to go because it's always been like one of those big things. But I think if you wanted something to bring the kids and just watch and look
Yeah.
at Americana and escape Americana once you're done.
Yeah.
Always have an exit route. Might be a good experience.
Nice. That's awesome.
On the screen again. Thank you. North Andover, the Boosters Club, so for public school sports, is doing a 4th of July road race. It's a 5K.
Cool.
They also do an all-day festival there. North Andover, at the North Andover Commons, has a youth center, a senior center, more of a
Yep.
youth center for their community, and it's opened up for their community for the 4th of July. There's a pancake breakfast over at the Masons that's right on the road. So it's a lot of events that if you needed to get out of town and wanted to celebrate but still be close to home,
Yep.
it's a good thing. It's a nice escape.
Nice. And then one more road race.
Yes, so this one's Lawrence. It's the Groundworks Lawrence. So the people who are funding the farmers markets here in Lawrence do a fundraiser called the Greenway 5K from Manchester Street Park. You may not know this if you're not from here, but Manchester Street Park can be a sketchy park on its best days.
Okay.
I, as a principal, I go jogging there myself, just really to mess with people.
Yep.
I usually get my matching Lululemon and just really mess with people.
Nice.
Like, what's going to happen to the rent? But it's part of our waterway. So the Spigot River that comes from Methuen to this canal
Yep.
is the Spigot River. And so the race is from Manchester Street Park, following the river through all of the parks that create the Greenway of Lawrence.
Oh, beautiful.
All the way to here. Well, it's beautiful, but it's also kind of, and the only person who said it happened to be a local Dominican woman, is they try to do a cleanup beforehand.
Yep.
Because our parks here,
They get messy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't find a copy of it. When I did my first run for it back before COVID, there was a documentary called Lawtown, which was about the heroin camps, and they were all being set up in the Greenway.
Oh, okay.
So part of it is they do a cleanup which is good. They're also bringing awareness to some of the problems that the community has.
Yeah.
So they don't sugarcoat it. I mean, you're going to see some mattresses, you're going to see some messiness. You're going to see tent cities.
Okay.
Most of that has been cleaned up over the years because it's been 6 years since I've been doing this.
Yep.
But it brings awareness to some of our problems,
Yeah.
while also trying to clean it up and raise money to further do cleanup opportunities.
Nice.
So that's what Groundwork Lawrence is. I highly recommend looking them up, their websites. They do food initiatives, they do community gardens, they do river cleanups, they do lots of outreach for the community, and they're always looking for volunteers. So if you wanted to do something this summer as a volunteer opportunity, they're looking for people.
That's awesome. And for any of you young folks out there, always a good opportunity to build your resume with volunteer work, and make connections, meet people who will be your next job reference or will be the person who tells you about the next job or whatever. This building community, it's good for all of us in community, but selfishly, the more you build community, the more you will reap from said community.
And they have a very solid youth volunteer program.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
There's already an application there.
Awesome.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. And the last thing I had was a list of No King protests. So supposedly the next No Kings protest will be July 17th. If you are of the persuasion that you want to protest, you want to be vocal about anything that's going on that you're upset about, you're allowed to. You're allowed to protest. That's one of our fundamental rights. One of the things is be careful. If you're going on social media to kind of arrange and find places, speak with people you know, speak with people you trust. Don't just go to some random page that has a funny meme. You never know who you're talking to on the other side of that internet. It could be completely harmless. It could also be very bad. So
It could be feds.
It could be feds. It could be feds. It could also just be weirdos.
That's true. That's very true.
So, I mean, there is a wide spectrum of what could go wrong.
Yeah.
So be vigilant. Other things being that if you are participating, nonviolence, 100%. It's not as much of a big deal here in Massachusetts or New Hampshire. We're kind of in a bubble.
But still,
But still be aware.
Anyone who wants to make you look stupid, anyone who wants to delegitimize your protest knows all they have to do is get one thing, which is you being violent on tape. You throw one brick, you hit one, you push one cop, you do whatever, and they're going to go, look at these thugs. It's what happens every single time. Look at these thugs, right? If you want to protest, you need to do it in a way that amplifies your voice, amplifies your issues, and doesn't delegitimize it. Mm-hmm. And again, know why you're protesting. Be thoughtful about this. I know sometimes these things turn into a bit of a social event, and it's not a social event. I mean, these are serious issues. We have serious violations of rights happening. We have serious miscarriages of justice happening. There's lots of things worthwhile protesting, but make sure you know what they are. Make sure you're able to make your point in a way that's intelligent and doesn't push people away. It's very easy when we go to protests to get into this idea of like, well, I'm on the more, look, we're right. All of us here, we're right. Anyone else who disagrees with us is an idiot and like just righteous indignation. It's not real helpful. It is very helpful to get out, make your voice heard, be forceful, and be strong in a nonviolent way. But it is not helpful to get involved in typical divisive politics. And I have this sense that in a lot of these protests, there are people trying to make it as divisive as possible, probably on both sides, if we're going to be honest. Yeah. So keep your head up, pay attention, be safe, be smart, be careful. Who knows who's in that crowd with you? Again, there's certainly going to be some weirdos, and there's almost certainly going to be some feds. Yep. So be careful.
And another thing that I want to bring up, I always post it back. There was a video, it wasn't here in the U.S., of a guy dressed up as Pikachu avoiding police during a protest that went terribly wrong, and running and dashing and avoiding police. And the big rule is if they can't identify you on tape and they can't catch you, they can't prosecute. So do not post your selfie of your costume on your social media. Costumes are great. Right now, Donald Trump is talking about removing the ability to wear COVID masks. That's fine. Clown makeup works just as well at facial recognition.
And be clear, that's what we're talking about here. For the significance of the masks and all this stuff, it's about Palantir and facial recognition technology. This is what our government is currently spending billions of dollars investing in, knowing who's at the protests, what they're saying, what they do for a job, what they post online, who their friends are, So be very, very careful. My most paranoid side is like, maybe the whole point of these protests is for Palantir to check out to test their technology or whatever. Who knows? But again, be very careful and feel free to protect your face. Feel free to protect your identity, especially in a world where we have government agents covering their faces and not wearing uniforms and putting people in unmarked cars. You have no reason. You have no debt to them to have to show them who you are.
Yeah. So be safe. If you're going to be doing something to hide your privacy, make sure it's something sensible. It is July, so hydrate. Something sensible, not a full Pikachu suit. You will die of heat exhaustion. Yeah,
awesome. I just want to touch on one thing before we call it a day on our local show. Daz, will you give me this real quick? We got no real movement in this Demoulas issue, and it's bothering me personally because I don't know what's going on. There was the RDT and his loyalists were suspended and sort of pushed out, and they were accused of trying to basically drum up a strike. But we haven't really had any progress. Last time it was very, very clear in 2014 when this happened. All the sort of things fell where they were going to fall very quickly. There were the allegiances and the alliances sort of came up, and the employees walked out, and people boycotted. And this time, there's none of that, and it's just. I don't know what's going on. I don't see a ton in the media about this. I did some looking around. I haven't seen a lot of updated stories. If anybody is an insider at Market Basket, knows what's going on, please let me know. I would love to know more about the situation. I am a huge fan of Market Basket, and I think they are the best grocery chain in the country. And I as a New Englander, I'm proud of Market Basket and would like to continue shopping there and enjoying its good quality food at low prices. Exactly, yes.
There was a national article. I don't know if it was I think Wall Street Journal or the New York Journal, and it was an op-ed about we're just a different generation now. The last 10 years have just kind of messed with our ability to be loyal to an employer because we've had so many times where the employer has not been loyal to the employees now, and it's just gotten so bad that this generation that's come up that's now at the grocery store. I mean, this made national news. This was a national op-ed that the kids, much like Des here at the desk, they're not going to have loyalty to some CEO that they've never met. They're going to have, okay, this is my paycheck on Friday, and if I don't have this paycheck on Friday, I'm going to Hot Topic.
Right.
I'm going to a different store
to work. Of course, yeah.
And the generation right before that, the Zs are all, paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
The millennials were the start of that, where we had hiring freezes for a decade. We had a decade hiring freeze in corporate America, where you can't hire a full-time employee, but you could hire a contractor on a week-to-week basis. And a lot of us started our careers and continued our careers as contractors, not thinking, because they think the word contractor, you thought you were getting the money. The money was going to a contract firm, and you were getting still less than what people were making in McDonald's for a high-tech job with no health insurance and no protections. And every Friday you could have been gone. So this is 20 years of absolutely no protection for an employee. And so we now have a generation of children who don't know what that is.
Yes, that loyalty and
And so they were using that as a foil on what's going to happen here at Market Basket this time around.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That mentality has been broken so much in our culture.
Yeah, no, it's a shame, and it's a whole different approach. And like you're saying, I think there was a time in which most people had experience in a small or medium size local founder owned company, and it's a whole like part of a team feeling, not this fake bullshit corporate like team building stuff. Like corporate America does everything they can to remake that vibe and fail every time because you just can't do it. And unfortunately, many people now have only ever had those corporate jobs.
Yeah.
But there used to be places you could work where they cared if you lived or died. That was a thing, that was a real thing, and that you had some loyalty to the company and the company had some loyalty to you. And I would love to see us get back there. All right, that is what we got for local stuff today, folks. We will be back with Sunday Sanity Check in about 15 minutes. We're going to start that right at 7:15. At 8 o'clock tonight on the Doing Better show, for our interview is Melissa Blazek, who is a former New Hampshire state rep, part of the director of Rebuild New Hampshire. Really, really excited to talk to her. She's been very active in local politics for the last many years, actually. So we're really excited for that. So we will be back. We're going to do, like I said, Sunday Sanity Check. We're going to catch it up on Iran, on Gaza, immigration, talk about some election stuff, and a little bit of other talk about why you shouldn't be a sellout. So we'll see you at 7:15 for Sunday Sanity Check and 8 o'clock for an interview with Melissa Blazek. Peace.